Okay, welcome to the February meeting of the Wisconsin Woodworkers Guild. I know we've got a lot of guests tonight, a lot of visitors. We won't go through every one of them, but welcome to everybody. It's good to see you. I hope you see something that you might like. We've got an excellent speaker tonight. No pressure, Jerry. We've got a little bit of business that we got to cover, and then we'll get into the presentation. I wanted to welcome John and Nancy Gilmore right up in front here. John is the gentleman that donated his entire shop to us. There is a vote that we need to take tonight, since we have at least 25 members here. Last month we missed it by one, so we want to change the January meeting to February so that we can give Greg a chance to get all the books together. I think we gave him 3 days last month to do it, but we have to vote on it. So if you are a member, if anybody...
Are we going to miss the January meeting, or
No.
is it going to be a different kind?
It'll be a different kind. It will not be the financial meeting. That'll be in February. Ron, you taking count?
Yeah, we're fine.
We're fine? Okay. If you're for it, would you raise your hand, please? You want to count?
No. You need to know who's against it.
Okay. Against? Anybody against it?
Is the motion on the table?
Yeah.
The motion was that we are changing the January business meeting to February.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it
So
was
that
on
we
the table.
give time to the treasurer to get the books done, because we can't do a decent budget without all of the numbers in for the end of the year. So it passes.
Yeah,
So
it
then
passed.
it's the last day that they're coming in.
Okay. We'll get it written up. Ron, you want to talk about the membership promotion?
Oh, sure I can. And I'm glad to see that we've got a bunch of people here tonight that have brought, you want that? Yeah, I guess. We have a membership drive going on. We figured, probably with COVID, that we were gonna lose a bunch of people. And we did. We went from 116 members to, we're at 70 right now. So we came up with the idea of having a membership drive. And basically the way it works is, if Dave, you bring in one guest and they join, you get $25 off your dues for next year. If you bring in 2 people, you get your dues free next year. So our membership, and that will run through the end of July. So if you bring in guests by the end of July, you can affect your dues for next year. The purpose of that is very simple. We'd like to double the size of the group. We'd like to get it up to about 140, which we think is very manageable. That gives us probably 70 to 80 people at a meeting, and it'll give us the resources that we need to continue to expand the shop. Are you going to talk about the shop?
Very little.
Okay, I'll talk about it a lot then. The shop, and most of you haven't been here in a while, the shop is actually going to be doubled up. We're going to move it over to this pole here. And we've got Ron and some of the guys have almost all the electrical done. So I think, probably by March, we may be able to move the classroom over there, and we'll have all of this for shop. And what is going to happen with that, and I was asked tonight, which is encouraging, if we were going to get a CNC machine. Once we get that shop over here and we get it sort of functional, then we want to get the CNC machine. And we're at that point where we can afford to do that, I think. And I think with the addition of the 60, 70 people that we're hoping to get through the membership drive, it'll afford the sort of that little subcommittee that we want to form of people that want to be involved strictly in that. So, it's an exciting time in the guild. With everything that's been going on, to see this type of group here tonight. So we've got 50 people here, which we haven't seen in a long time. So welcome all the guests. Did you ask how many guests are here? I think there is 7 or 8.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
Everybody raise your hand if you're a guest tonight. It's quite a few people.
Yeah, quite a few.
So that's great. Any questions? Don't hesitate to ask.
I have a question. I have
Yes,
a question, will the membership, if they start in July, will it be prorated, or will they pay for the full year?
No, what will happen, and that's a good question, Norm, I'm glad you brought it up. We will, through the end of July, you'll get a credit, or if you're not sponsored by somebody, you'll pay $45. It then goes to $45 in October, and if you start in October, you'll pay $45 for this year and all, or the balance of this year and all of next year. And the reason that we did that is in July, August, we don't have a meeting, and September, you can come to the meeting free. So there's no reason to charge for those months. So if somebody walked in and let's say at the July meeting and said, I want to join, I'd tell them, give me the information and we'll start you up in October. So it'll be $45 for October, November, December, and the whole following year. That's been an ongoing thing for years. So yeah, we're not going to prorate it like we used to do it, but we are going to give that deal in October.
anyone else? Okay. Super. As Ron said, a lot of you offered to help with running the electrical here. The problem with that is so many times I don't know until the day of if I can get down here or not. And I made a quick call the night before, and Jeff Greska?
I'm hiding.
Oh, you're hiding? Jeff was here, Tommy Mesnico was here, and Jim Schroeder came in on Tuesday on real short notice. We got a lot of the pipe run up there. We got some of the boxes up here that we're gonna run for the electrical, for all the lights and the cameras. We've got we spent 4 hours here on Tuesday. We're probably gonna spend another 4 before we can even think of moving things. And then the electrician will be coming in to pull all the wires and everything. So it's kind of an update on that. It's just taken me a little bit of time. But thank you to the guys that are all willing to help. I appreciate it. Also tonight, we have a new sponsor, Jennifer Studebaker from Urban Wood Lab. Jennifer and Urban Woods that picked up a spot in our ripsaw. So they're going to be sponsors of ours for the next year. We also have tickets at the raffle tables that if you go in, you can use they're gift card tickets. You can go in toward the purchase of your wood at Urban Wood. So go see them, spend some money, spend lots of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spend lots of money.
I have a question for Jennifer, and we've been asked this a couple times. Did you guys keep or do you have the wide sander?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We do have the wide sander, we have wide planer, we do straight line cutting. We do all kinds of services that way, so if you want to use a really big slab, we can help get you started on the project. Because, some of those slabs are giant.
Yeah, how much do you charge for doing that, sanding those large slabs?
So we charge $100 an hour.
Jennifer,
So,
why don't you come on up?
come on, okay.
So they can see you
Sure.
and hear you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, thanks.
We charge $100 an hour, and it's about 10 or 15 minute increments. So it's still pretty reasonable, especially thinking about how much time it might take you to sand one of those really big pieces of wood.
Any other questions? Nope.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
We're located in Caledonia, just north of where 7 Mile Fair is, just south of where that IKEA is. It used to be Kettle Moraine Hardwoods. And it's really not that far. The other thing is, on our website, which is urbanwoodlab.com, we have our inventory of all of our slabs. You can go on and look and see what slabs we have before you even make the trip. We also have pricing for all of our lumber as well, dimensional lumber.
Jennifer, if you know, how wide is the planer on the sander?
I feel like the planer is 42 inches, and I believe the sander is 51 inches.
Oh, wow.
It's big, because, sometimes when you take down those big trees, we try to take them in one piece, and it's big. Yep. Any other quick questions?
Gary, did you?
What's the price on a planer?
It's also $100 an hour, so it's just how long it takes us to run it through there.
You might want to explain the Sawmill Club to them?
Sure, yep. We're very pleased to welcome all of the members of the Guild to our Sawmill Club. This means that whenever you come into the store and show your Guild card, it's 20% off right off the top of the wood that you purchased that day. We have all kinds of urban wood slabs. We're part of Happy Tree Service, and so our goal is really, when we take down these trees in our customers' yards, we don't want to make them all into firewood or let them go to the landfill. We would like to turn these into high-quality, kiln-dried, dimensional lumber and urban wood that you can use and artisans can use to make really cool stuff.
Can you give me an example of the type of wood you have? Is it mostly domestic? Is it air dried, kiln dried, just all green? What
Nope,
are we looking at?
it's mostly kiln dried. We have 2 kilns going right now. It's all species that you would find in southeastern Wisconsin. So it's all of the traditional ones like walnut, maples, oaks, cherry. We've also got some really cool ash. We've got locust, we've got basswood. I'm trying to think of some other cool tulip poplar. So it's any tree that you might see that's cut down from somebody's yard.
And just out of curiosity, what do you charge for the rental of the tractor trailer to drive that big eight?
Well, if you have Hoppy cut your tree down for you, there's a whole package that we put together. And if you just want us to take that wood away, we will do that, because we, of course, as Happy Tree Service, we do all of the tree services. And then we have a processing farm in Grafton, which is where we do all of our milling and some of our kiln drying. We also have a kiln right in the store in Caledonia, so we've got 2 kilns going. Sir?
What's the service area for the tree service?
The entire southeastern Wisconsin. We go up as far as Sheboygan, as far west as, I'm trying to think if we've gone past Oconomowoc, and then all the way down to the line into Illinois, to Illinois. Yep,
Goes
sir.
far northwest is Juneau.
Oh,
You know where Juneau
I
is?
do know where Juneau is, yes. In fact, my grandfather used to have the pellet manufacturing up there in Juneau.
In Juneau, or is that
Yep.
on Highway 67 at Thressa?
No, Juneau. It was Juneau Wood Products. I'm not 100% sure, but if I can take your name and number and we can give you a call.
Did you bring any cards?
I'm sorry, I didn't bring any cards. I know that's the biggest problem with a marketing person, not to bring cards.
We'll get some.
But we
We'll
will
get
bring some, yeah, we will bring some. And you can always go on our website too, or join our Facebook page.
And in our newsletter, we have the address and phone number and stuff, so.
Yep, yep. Yeah, if anybody, we'll get a sign-up sheet if anybody wants to join our newsletter.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing a story on the Guild in the February issue, which would be coming out, not next week, but the week after. So maybe you guys would like to see yourselves in lights. Sir?
I had a bunch of tree trunks that I wanted to get rid of because I was saving them for turn, but I never did turn them. So I'm gonna have to, the summer comes along, I have to have some place to get rid of them. I don't know if you would take them or not.
I'm not sure that we would take them, but let's talk afterwards.
I'm not gonna turn.
Let's talk afterwards.
Yep.
Yep. Any other questions, sir? Yep.
Would we bring wood to you and have it kiln dried?
Yes. Yes.
And typically, how many days once you get it, what's the turnaround?
So the kiln dry process, this is how we go with a tree that we've just cut down. I'm not sure if your wood has been sitting out for a while, but typically it takes about 3 or 4 months to dry just outside as the log. Then we mill it, then it goes into the kiln, and it can be up in there for up to 6 to 8 weeks. And while it's in the kiln, we're monitoring the temperature and we're monitoring the humidity of the wood. And when it gets down to about 5 to 7%, then it's time to come out of the kiln. So it does take a while, but we definitely do that. We do that service if you've got wood that you would like to have kiln dried.
What if it's already cut?
That's okay.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Any other questions? No? All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Financing. So far, the Guild has $6,362.96. I'm going as of Saturday.
I'm going on stuff today.
No, you're not.
Yeah, yeah, 6,948,
No, you're not.
6,948?
yes.
Well, since it's more.
But I can use some.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I can read it.
I'm done with the announcements, so I think we're going to have Jerry Kasmerick come up tonight and show his suspended sculpture, which I know a lot of us have been waiting for. So, Jerry, it's all yours.
Okay. Is this in a way or anything? So I've actually been a member of the Woodworkers Guild for over 20 years. We used to meet in Washington Park, and then we met at some Universal Christian Church, and then we now are meeting down here. But this is my first presentation. And I'm going to be talking about this. Oh, first I want to introduce my wife, Kasmerick. She was your librarian for like 12 years in the past two places we're at, even here. And you guys had an unusual system here where the books were color-coded, different colors. And yellow might be painting, green might be finishes, red might be chairs. So then she converted all those books into the U.S. Congress numbering system. So that's where they are now. So she did an excellent job when she was here. And she probably attended more meetings than most of you guys. So I'm going to be talking about this because I brought it in at one of our show and tells, and people were interested in it, and they wanted to know, how it works. And so it basically works by this member is support. This member is being supported by this, so this is intention. And then to keep that intention, these are also intention. So everything in here is intention. This was my last project, but I started out with these models because I saw on the internet this popsicle stick piece that was glued together with a glue gun and just fish line. So that sort of intrigued me. So then I started trying to make my own. And so let's see. Well, I've got to turn this one. Sorry. We have so that's that. So today I'm going to show you how to assemble and build a tension table. I put together another one, which is assemblable and disassemblable. But I'm going to start with the background of these small models. I made about 7 or 8 of them, and so I ended up advancing my capabilities as far as attaching these fish lines and making this tension area stronger, and eventually making an adjustable tensioning system. So I'm going to just start out with the pictures of these models. Wrong way. So that's the initial popsicle stick one. This one is a sort of an advanced popsicle stick one because I tried to hide all the joints, and there's a veneer on the top, veneer on the bottom. This is one where I made for my wife. There's 2 pictures on this side and 2 pictures on the other side. You can turn it around depending which way you want her to look. Yeah. This is another one I made, which is similar to the one I'm going to show you today. But I made it out of spalded maple, and I was afraid it was going to crack through here. So then I had to put a reinforcement on the back, because the grain is all going, that way. Here's one I made for a church auction. This one I tried to make a little tricky. I don't know if you can see my finger there. Yeah. So this one has 2 strings that are actually holding the thing in tension, and keeping the top from falling to the bottom. And then then I made those strings also go all the way through, so you really can't tell which ones are doing the holding. So that has really 6 strings going all the way through. That was a little tricky to get the tension to show up all the way through on those 2. And let's see, this one is a birthday gift I gave to a friend, and this was the first one that I used this system where I use these, I'm going to go over that later, these socket head cap screws so that you can adjust the tension. And uniformly, and you can even unadjust it. And just 2 more. This, my daughter likes fish, so I made a fish one with a suspended fish on the lines. And this is a model of this. So I'm going to explain some things, but I'm going to end up eventually assembling a small model, which we'll put together here, and I'll go through some things on that. And then I made a drawing for a larger table, sort of like that one. I had a cutting board from Michigan that my brother from Michigan gave me about 7 or 8 years ago, and we never used it to cut food. So I converted that into a table. So I started out trying to make with the smallest lines I could. So I got that 8,000 fish line, because it's sort of pretty transparent, and it's this has 6 pound test line, and it's 10 thousandths in diameter. So the only trouble with that was I ended up having to drill small holes because I was trying to hide the holes. And so I'm ending up trying to drill with a 10.5 thousandths fish line. I'm trying to drill a 13 or 14 thousandth diameter hole. And I had a lot of trouble breaking drills. And I ended up buying drills from, let's see. Well, they have drills on Amazon. You can, believe it or not, so you can buy a set of 10 carbide drills, 5 sets of those for about $12 or $13. The trouble with those is they're extremely brittle. And so I'd be, especially these little 13, 14, 15 thousandths drills, I'm breaking them like crazy. In fact, I went through 5 sets, just of the small diameters. So then I discovered that I have a Craftsman drill press, and I've had it for 20 or 25 years. And somewhere along the way, there was a gall on the taper that holds the chuck in there. And so I had an 8 thousandths run out. And so 8 thousandths run out on a 13 thousandths drill just doesn't work. In fact, you also have to let the wood move a little bit, if you're using it, just to let it follow. So anyway, I finally got that fixed. But it's still, the whole thing still had 2 or 3 thousandths run out. I probably would have been better if I would use a Dremel or something. But I was trying to line things up, in a drill press. So I had a lot of trouble with drills. And so I eventually graduated to, and some of these holes, you might be able to drill by hand, because you can buy one of these, you can get one of these things where you can turn it by hand. And depending on the wood, you can go through wood fairly easy. But if you try and go through plexiglass, like one of these had a plexiglass top, or like this one, then it's very easy to break a drill. And once you break a drill, especially a carbide drill in a hole, you can't get it out. Because you can't drill it out, or you can't even pull it out, because it usually breaks right at the surface. So let's see, let me go through these here. So I eventually went away from drilling. So the reason I like drilling is so you can drill like a 13, 14 thousandths hole in there. And I developed putting a knot, just a simple knot in this line. And so if you put like a 25 thousandths diameter countersink, and with a 13 thousandths hole in there, and put just a simple knot in the end of that fish line, and that really can hold a lot of load before it pulls through. Now, just using regular fish line, like this, this is the 10.5 thousandths. If you pull real hard, sometimes that knot will slip. So then I did some measurements on lines, depending on, so this would be the line for, that's a 20 thousandths line. Here's this fish line that's used in these, which is 10.5 thousandths. So so the knot is, at the end here, it's 28 thousandths. But I discovered I can put a glue on the knot. I can take this fish line, tie the knot in it, and feed it, and then put a little glue on that knot, and then slide it through. And then it didn't increase the diameter. Maybe it was cyanoacrylate, 28 thousandths. UV, I got some UV adhesive. That was a 31 thousandths, and wood glue itself is 30 thousandths. So it hardly increased the diameter at all, but it made it much stronger. You couldn't really pull it through. So I did that for all of these. Now this is using thicker 18 thousandths line and 20 thousandths line here. So I did those studies for all three different fish lines. When I was going to show you the drills I got, so this was one of the best sets. It goes from 13 thousandths all the way to 35 thousandths, and it's all tool steel, that's much less fragile. I don't think I broke one of these, and I forget how I did it. Otherwise, these were good.
And where'd you get those, Jerry?
You can also get them on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or any other store.
There's a huge selection on Amazon. The other thing though I discovered is, so sometimes you can buy these different kind of chucks. So here's a company that just sells, it's called Gyros. I don't even got a camera. Anyway, you can buy a pack of 13 thousandths drills. So there's like 20 of them in here. And there's a little chuck there. And then, and these are tool steel or high-speed steel, so these don't break that easy. You know, if I would do that to a carbide, go on. But now this chuck is pretty good. But some other chucks, because I bought other chucks because these things don't fit into my Craftsman chuck. And so chucks are not all that concentric either. And I haven't bought enough chucks to give you an idea which are the best chucks. Here's another set of high-speed steel. It comes in the same range, a large range of sizes. Now, these all would have been a lot easier to make in retrospect if I probably had a better drill press, and maybe I went overboard in trying to stick with such a thin piece of fish line. Because if you have a thicker fish line, if you double the fish line thickness, you double the size of the knot. So instead of a 25 thousandths knot, you got a 50 thousandths knot. That's what I have here. And you know, maybe there's not that big of a difference, but a lot more work to work with the super small holes and drilling those small holes. All right, let's see. So I'm going to basically so those are the fish lines. So I'm basically going to put this one together just to show you how these go together and how they're tensioned. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah. I'm going to want to stick one here. This way. Here. So I came up with another way, which is a big improvement over drilling the holes, and that's cutting a slit in these models. So I have one of these Japanese saws, and there's no the kerf doesn't go on either side, whatever, however you call that. It's just, yeah, there's no set to it, right. And so this will cut an 8.5 thousandths slot in wood. And so I've used this on 2 of these, and then I didn't use it on top here, but let's say this one I used on top, but you can't see it, but you can see it on the bottom. Oh, I used it on this one on the bottom. So you can cut that slit in there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, hey, there I am. I really can't really see it. Can you?
Yeah,
we can see it, Jerry.
Yeah.
So then you just, so this has a double advantage, because when I'm using holes in the bottom, and you're pulling this fish line through, then it doesn't want to, it wants to release right away. In fact, Pat has helped me, we put spacers in here, and I'm pulling these so that it's all pushing down the spacers. And then I'm putting a little cyanoacrylate if I'm using a hole. And then that cures that piece of line in that hole. But in this case, it's a tight enough fit that you just pull that line, you can pull each individual line, and either have spacers in there, or just, look at it, or put a level on it and get them all the same height. And unless you pull a huge amount of load on it, it stays there. And then when you're through, you can just put a dot of cyanoacrylate at the bottom, and then it's locked in place.
What is that base? Is that honey locust?
This is just some pine.
Pine?
Yeah. This is I actually had a tree, so I cut some branches like that, but this is not one of those pieces, but I made some myself. Yeah. Mine's probably, what's that wood we have in our swamp?
Oh, the black walnut?
No, the other.
Buckthorn?
No,
Or ash?
yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, it was, Okay, so let's see if I'm going to assemble one of these. So the one I'm going to assemble has a combination of holes and slits. And I made this, I drew the larger table that I'm going to show you in a little while, but I made this 1/3 size. See, am I missing a piece here? Maybe not. So, the table I'm going to show you is actually made by assembling this piece to this piece, and this piece to this piece, and this piece to that piece, and to that. So it's in 3 separate pieces, but this is all one piece. So to keep from tying these knots for you while you guys are watching me, I left this piece in. So I don't know if you can see there's a knot there, and a knot there. So you just, so this is a slit cut into the end here, and it's countersunk with a 25 thousandths diameter hole, so that when you pull this, it disappears. And then, let's see. Let's see, well, actually I don't have to. So since there's already a knot on this side, that's another advantage, because if you're drilling a hole, you have to put it through the hole and then tie the knot. So that's basically what holds the thing together. That one, oops, got to pull this tight here. There. There. So now, I'm still going to put the other lines in, and should I put it out there so you can see better?
It's good.
All right?
That's fine, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, because you got the camera? Yeah, camera. This on the way. And, let's see. Oh, yeah, I know, really. Or I was kidding my wife that people that do sewing, would be good at this. I know. So these I made ahead of time so you wouldn't have to watch me tie the knot. There's a knot there. And you just, I'm not gonna tie this end, but you just, simple knot. I've looked up other knots now, and there's a variety of knots. Just put that in there and tie it, So, figure out.
How do you get them so they're all the same length?
Well, I'll show you. Because I've made them all way too long. So you have to put that through that little hole. Pretty good for an old guy, huh? Look at that.
Very good.
See, now I'm gonna pull it, and then it went inside the counter sink. One down before I go. Let's see. And normally when I'm doing these, I don't even have the tape on, but you really wouldn't be able to see it. There's another one. Pull it a little bit. And it disappears. Let's see now, I can turn this thing over, I think. Right here. Yep. Oh, wow. So I use holes on that side, and then this side, so that side had the holes. So this side shows the advantage, there's just a slit there. And then I pull it, and it goes into the countersink, because I put a countersink at the end of that slit. Same with the other one. Gotta make sure I have a knot in this. I think I left one without a knot so you guys could see that I can tie a knot. That's it. Sometimes so that goes in there also. There.
You drink a lot of caffeine before you do that?
A lot of these have taken me a lot longer than this. I'm organized now. So now I'm going to put, on this side there's slits, so I'm putting it in there. Putting this one in there. So now I can pull that, because it pulls through the slit nice. This one's a little loose.
Is that, are those slits like a friction fit for that? For that?
Say it again?
Is that a friction fit in that?
Oh, yeah, it's
slit?
very tight, yeah, because that's 10.5 thousandths fish line, and that's 8.5 thousandths.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see it now. So on this side,
Hopefully Jerry catches.
whoop,
Most people are excited about all these thousands.
get this one, get that one. This side, I put two, so I am not gonna do this because I'm not putting the cyanoacrylate on there. Oops. This side, I have two holes, and you'd go through one hole, come through and do the other hole, and then hold it there with a spacer, and this would be the spacer. And then put a little cyanoacrylate glue on it. So I'm just gonna go through the one hole. Oh. And put it on this. I have a slit there already. And do the other one. Whoop. So you can assemble these on this thing like I am, or, which I did a long time when I was screwing around with these things, I get the spacer in there. Whoop. Or sometimes I have help.
Yeah, right here.
Pat, how many times do you hear him swearing?
He's in a basement.
Let's see, I'm gonna go back to this. Let's see. So, let's put it. Nope. I did this in the basement, okay.
Sure.
Pat did it, I know.
It's always easier, no one's watching.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I see, because I pulled, so this is, I pulled this one in the center when I was manhandling it out of the, out of this.
Looks like my last fishing reel. All twisted up. Yeah.
Jeez. Huh? Let's see here. That's in there.
No pressure.
Goes right there. Try again.
We know it's complicated, Jerry. You don't have to make it look worse than it is.
You know, I did this in my basement, and then I took it apart. So the trouble is I don't have a long enough. Let me, you guys will let me get a pair of pliers. Tools. I thought I brought a pair of needle nose pliers. Give it one more shot.
Jerry, could you use an extra set of hands?
I don't know. Let's see. Trouble was, this one, I don't have enough to grab there to get it back into the. Here, maybe you can just hold it. I'll see if I can. I brought you need those pliers and all that.
Do it.
Oh, here, that's it. That might do it.
Once I get back.
Hey, Mike, you know where there's a needle nose in the
He's
shop?
got one. He's got it.
Okay.
except it's not gripping it. Oh, that's because it's got grooves in it. That's because your needle nose has got grooves in it that are deeper than this 10,000th fish line. Sure. We did. Oh! No, it's gonna be here.
We can sign you up for Christmas.
Let's do this. And that. And that. That. And then.
But I was thinking, that's exactly what it
Well, I'll try to do it after the break.
All right.
Jerry, do you want us to take a break, or
How are we doing?
whatever you
No,
want?
no, because I can put this one together, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, quick
Hopefully,
question.
hopefully, it'll get a little smoother.
Gary, there's a question.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So the idea is you have one under tension and the other four lines are just helping it balance around that one tension point. Is that how it is?
Yeah, they're sort of pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of these are pulling this down. It's hard to, oh, the other thing that happens, so you have to make sure when you're making one of these, like this is a pretty stable platform here, it's pushing in the center, and it's not trying to bend anything. So if I was trying to mount this here and I have something like that, then this load here is trying to flip this over. And so whatever load is on here, let's say there's 5 pounds on each one of these, so there's 20 pounds on this. So that's carrying a combined load of all of these.
Jerry, what's your time frame on having like the longest one? My question is, after a while, do you have to readjust because the tension changes on the string stretching out?
I don't think so unless you're stretching it to, its limit. Like this one is 20-pound line, so there's not 20 pounds in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm more worried about it slowly pulling through the wood. But if you put a little acrylate, sometimes I do that, put a drop in there.
Okay.
The other thing is to measure the tension, or at least I do that. I wasn't able to do that on this one, but then you can do this. Can't hear that. In your basement, you can make these sounds come the same, roughly. Then you have roughly the same tension.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah.
what about the effect of sunshine on monofilament?
I normally have these in the house.
Well, you could sit in the window, you get the light.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
Would that affect it, Norm?
Did you ever think of using different material like silk?
Yes, I looked up silk because silk is very strong, but it's really small. Then you're really talking about some small holes. And then I looked up,
Silk is available in quite a few different sizes. 8 or 9 or 10 different sizes. thicknesses.
I looked up Kevlar in my Kevlar, and then I ordered, and I have used a 4,000 stainless steel wire.
Ooh.
Just in case I get bored. Okay, well, I'm sorry that demo didn't go good. Did this help? Whose are these?
I'll get it later.
Okay. So I don't know if, I didn't go through how we do the, so this particular table has got just the knot holding it here, and it's got, it's got another thing which I didn't talk about, and that's these, I got this idea from Gary's wife, Karen. Because when I have, even though I have a big knot in here, I'm still worried about it pulling through. If I put, especially since this sees 4 times the load that these others do. So then there's these fabric snaps. And I'm not passing much stuff around, but anyway, these are 2. You can weave the fish line, and that's a heavier duty fish line, through these snaps. Let's see, they're over here somewhere. Oh wait, it's going the wrong way again. There's the dribbles, knots. I think I talked about the knots. Let's see. Yeah, some of that have to put glue on them. And I've gone through the slits, and then here's these snaps. So you can snap those snaps apart, and there's a little hole in them. And so you can run the fish line through that hole, and then there's 4 holes around the side of it. So you can weave that through there and run it underneath, and then it sort of locks into place. And then you've got a lot of area and you don't have to worry about a knot pulling through your wood. Yeah. So I tended to use that in the center here.
How'd you hide your holes?
You mean the hole?
Yeah.
Oh, I put a plug.
Is that plywood?
Yeah, that's plywood. Yeah.
You could also use a bead, like from a bracelet. You just loop your line through there several times and then tie it off.
Oh, well, yeah, could be it, yeah. I'm not an expert, but there's probably a lot of ways to do it, yeah.
Well, the bead would make it fat so it couldn't pull through.
Uh-huh. And you're putting that bead on a line, like?
Yeah, and then just wrap around through the hole of the bead several times so it doesn't slip.
Okay. I did look up some, now they mentioned it, so here's the standard knot I'm using. You know, just a single cut, and then...
How many thousands is that?
Yeah, that's what that's more my speed.
Here's a knot that you can put on the end of a line, and I found it on the internet, so that's a really big knot, you know. So, but of course, the bigger the hole you make, you know, the more it's going to show up. But you can always plug it with something. And then here's another knot that I haven't tried either of these 2 yet.
You got a knot on one end, but how do you get the other 4?
Okay, oh yeah, I'm going to show you that next, yes.
Hold the knot steady so I can zoom in on it.
Oh, which,
Okay.
hey, pretty good picture.
All right.
So that was a good question, and that brings me up to another spot. So then I tried to come up with a way, I'll put this upside down here, to make it adjustable. And so I got some socket head cap screws. I've got some, first I set it with plastic. One of those I showed you had plastic, I'll start with plastic. You can buy plastic socket head cap screws at the Master Car. And then, so then I took, so here's a regular socket head cap screw, and here's one that I drilled a little hole in. Probably can't see it. it's on one of these slides, you still won't be able to see it. I passed it. Oh, here. Am I in the right spot? Yeah.
Yes.
So so I did this with plastic and I did it with the brass. So the plastic, I was just able to fool around with some diameters and then you just stick it in here. And actually I have this, I mark them so that you can put them back in the same spot. Anyway, I put it in here. And I made them flush for this setup because you've got to be able to reposition it. So it's flush. And then you just drill a hole through there. And then, so I have one here that's got the tension on it. So you just turn this. So you feed you drill that hole and that hole goes through the socket head cap screw and then you feed the fish line through there.
So the line winds around,
Yeah.
winds around the screw.
The screw, right.
That's,
Yeah.
that's smart.
And you can really get some tension. Here. And you can generally undo it. So that worked okay, and I made one of them like that, the one that had the VV in it. I use this system on the bottom of that. And then to make this, I needed something stronger because this is a 20-pound test line here. And so I did the same thing with, what's in this picture? So there's the brass socket head cap screw, but when I put that in here and tried to drill it, and it's very sensitive as far as being on center, and especially with a small drill like that. And so, well, two things happened. First, I had to cut this diameter down, which I just did it in a drill press with a file. So I got that diameter smaller because in this case, this thicker line has to have a place to wrap around. And with a thin line, there was plenty of room with the threads. So there wasn't enough room, so then I had to cut that diameter down. And then once I cut that diameter down, then when I put that in here and drilled the hole, it was very sensitive well, I take that back. It was sensitive drilling the hole when I had the thread there. Because it would follow one of the threads, the drill, and then it wouldn't drill straight. And it would come out at an angle. So, anyway, the combination of both of those, you have to line that hole with that hole up very accurately, cut down that diameter. Actually, you can cut that diameter down, if you have it accurate, before or after you drill the hole. And that diameter is there to a place for the thread to go. So in this one, let's see, I got a different wrench for this one.
Jerry, what keeps the screw from unscrewing under that tension?
Ah, good question. So I had to fool around some diameters. If it was too loose, when you first started tightening it, it would just untighten. Yeah. So I had, you didn't have to change the diameter much. In fact, for this, I think this is a 5/16. It says a 5/16 head on this. So I've gotten away with the 5/16. But the shank was 3/16, and I went like one number drill down or something. And that was enough friction. And then once you start tightening it, then there's a lot of friction, just in the beginning. So somewhere.
So you didn't tap those holes?
No, right, they're not tapped.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you tap them, then when you start rotating, the thing's going to move, you know.
Right.
It's just spinning there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's another thing. You have to, when you drill that hole, you have to decide where you want to stop. So the head is what's stopping it here. So that head is sitting there like that, against the shoulder. And so it just spins in that spot. let's see, I still learned to get the tool to tighten this. There we go. So maybe I can pass this around and just tighten it. And you can see the line will be pulling this way and be pulling that way, you know. Maybe you can hear that. Oh, no. Anyway, you can make that quick. All right.
Jerry, when you're done with that segment, we'll take a break.
Okay, sure. Maybe I'll figure out how to make that other one work. I think let's see, let me think where I'm at. Other way? Sure. Yeah, we can take a break and then I'll put this together.
Okay. Okay, we'll take about a 5-10 minute break.
And hopefully it'll go a little smoother.
It's going good. It's going good.